Happy Friday, LinkedIn family. It's time for the weekend. Happy Friday to my Facebook family and to my YouTube channel subscribers, which is starting to blow up unbelievably. So I'm so glad. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody who's out there. I think these Coffee with Bobs are not really about me. It's always about the other person. I'm trying to help lift others up. I'm trying to get their messages out there. So I'm so glad for everybody who joins us for these conversations. I think it's important, and there's been some life-changing guests on recently. Actually, I consider all my guests life-changing, but Lisa Duerre here is one of those connections that will definitely change your life. If you're not connected with her, if you're not following with her, if you're not engaging with her, I highly recommend it. You should, because she is definitely going to make a difference. I'm going to put her scroll across the page where you can get to her website and check her out. But this is Lisa Duerre, and I think why I found so amazing from Lisa is that I am in tech, right? I'm a servant leader for a technology team, and she really specializes in burnout in technology, which is just running rapid across our country. But I'm stealing Lisa's thunder at this point because I'm talking too much. So Lisa, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and let's talk about technology burnout.
Well, first of all, I'm going to raise my coffee cup for Coffee with Bob.
Awesome. Thank you.
I love it. Yes. And if I could be so bold as to say that the ticker, we need to add a C. Oh, Alicia. Hey there. Yeah, on the ticker on the bottom, if anyone's trying to go to our website, we need to add a C. And, that's just real time things happen.
Oh, unbelievable. I will take care of that right now. Hang on.
Good. All is good. And Alicia, I'm so glad you're here. And for everyone else tuning in, give us a shout out, because I love to connect. And to be in this space with you, Bob, means so much to me, because this is a conversation that needs to be had. And it's not, I guess I just want to be a little bit contrarian to say that if you're burnt out in tech, it's not all your fault. You are not broken. What's happening in tech is that the way work is getting done as tech is causing the burnout. And right now, I'm just seeing so many organizations throwing resilience training, spa days, recharge days at people, but the level of work isn't changing and the leadership skills aren't changing. And I think what's really happening, I'm just going to say this, what's really happening is that the leaders in charge of these organizations, they're experts in technology. They are not experts in people, motivation. Sometimes they don't even have the right business skills, right? And it's not even their fault. They were promoted based on this amazing technology base of knowledge that they have. And what I really believe is the solution to burnout in tech, the always on, never good enough, will replace you tomorrow experience that we all know is happening, has to do with really good leadership. And I think that the thing that's missing is the development of the leaders for their people and business skills. Because when you really can be empathetic and you can actually advocate for headcount or create a flexible work environment, watch the resilience and productivity go up.
Yeah.
A lot of times people are like, well, why should I care? It's always been this way. I think you should care because it's a $1 trillion problem in lost productivity a year. So if you are at all worried about your shareholder value or customer success, you can save, excuse my French, but a shit ton of money just by helping your employees be better.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, it's more than just having, playrooms for them to go to, or beer taps, or endless pop and snacks on the
Absolutely.
floor to get to. I love the way you use the word empathy, because I do think that that's really important. And I'll be honest, being a tech guy myself, although I'm not a traditional tech guy, I wasn't classically trained as a tech guy. A lot of tech people don't know how to be empathetic, right? They don't have those skills. You're absolutely right. So talk a little bit about how you help in that regard.
Yeah. Oh my God. Thank you for my favorite question. How can we help you? Right. So I left my corporate gig 4 years ago and formed RLD Group. And RLD stands for Rebooting Leadership Drive. Okay. So we reboot a hard drive, right? Heck, my podcast is called Control Alt Delete. So I'm constantly like sneaking in rebooting of some level. And where it really starts is giving the leaders the permission to be human, right? Because empathy is a human experience. And so when we work with a client, whether it's a one-on-one VIP coaching experience, a group program that we're running, the retreats that we do, we really start to look at how do I want to say this in the human words, not in tech talk.
Right.
Who are you and what makes you tick? Why did you say yes to this awesome experience in tech? What do you really want to make happen? And when we can tap into your why, then we can then take a look at, okay, is that happening? And most of the time they're like, no, I'm overwhelmed with employee reviews and, calibrating people. And, I don't even want to deal with maternity leaves, and all this people stuff is driving me crazy. So we help them understand that their role as a leader is the care and feeding, quote
Hmm.
unquote, of the people. And we help them see how to be successful doing that. Because, they just need the formula. One of our most amazing programs we put together is called, and that is, honest to goodness, the step by step process to be an amazing leader of humans,
Hmm.
right? So it's about mastering your strategy, mastering yourself, mastering your delivery, right? And then it's really about aligning your values in your life. So we help in many different ways, but fundamentally, it's getting to your core of why you said yes to tech, and then helping you see the strengths that you can bring to that you don't have to be someone you're not. You just have to be more conscious and have the tools and, honestly, the playbook to be able to have the conversations you need to have.
Right.
All the time they don't talk, Bob, because they're afraid of, what if they ask me for something I can't give them?
Hmm.
What if they cry? What will I do if somebody cries? Or
Yeah.
if I make an exception for this employee, what about the rest of them? They're all going to want something. And
Yeah.
I'm here to say, like, you have the power as the leader to be creative with that and to really understand what motivates each of your employees, because it's different.
Hmm.
There's a formula, there's an art and a science.
Yeah, absolutely. I found it throughout my career in dealing with my teams and the various managers that work with me and we partner with, that their burnout is very real, and it happens very quickly without them even realizing it,
Mhm.
because of the deadlines that we have to impose, right?
Yep.
Or because of the development schedule, right? Or the launch schedule that happens.
Mhm.
And because technology by its very nature is always on, always connected, I find that most people have a hard time walking away from it, have a
Mhm.
hard time doing some self-care for themselves.
Yeah.
So I one of the tricks I've learned is, I'll, if I can't sleep, or I'm in, in the middle of doing something, I'll just real quick go look to see who's on. And if I see through the system that they're on, I pop in right away and say, okay, time to go home, time to
Yeah.
get off, time to shut down, time to do whatever, because I
Mhm.
want to try and be as aware as possible.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
that's also difficult to do, because that leads to my burnout then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Imagine an organization that was fully staffed. I mean, let's just pause there. Like, to really, I think of cybersecurity, Bob. People in cybersecurity, their amygdala is already hijacked because they're always looking for the next bad actor, the next threat actor, and they're always on. And they know, Christmas Eve is when all the shit hits the fan, and they know when things happen. And so they're even losing their time with their families because they're always on. And
Right.
so I think staffing needs to be addressed. To manage budget through layoffs, it's irresponsible.
Right.
And I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of leaders out there that can't believe I just said that out loud. But managing, if your first act to manage budget is to lay off your people, you're doing it wrong, right? You have to staff in order to be able to be productive. So part of the burnout comes from just the way organizations are staffed. Part of the burnout comes from leaders not feeling comfortable pushing back or having boundaries. Everything's a yes and everything's
Hmm.
important.
Yep.
But we work with them to really get clear on, how can you have the biggest impact, and what is the most important thing right now? What's the next right step?
Yeah.
Because it just seems like it's just like a fire hose at you all the time.
Hmm.
So I just saw a comment from Natasha, and I don't know what it said, but I think it was something about our core. Yes, right, Natasha. Our core why is essential. Let's just say you go into cybersecurity because you really want to make a difference, and you're burning out. You're not going to want to stay. You're going to be like, this isn't sustainable. I'm not going to be great at this. And then you make a mistake. and then something hits the fan, and then you feel bad about yourself.
Right.
You got, as a leader, you have so much opportunity to change the way work gets done. And I think I would double dog dare, to use my words, every leader listening, to go ask yourself, what's one thing you can take off your people's plate right now? And whether it's a report, whether it's a due date, like where can you be flexible? That's really important right now.
Well, and part of the problem is, I would add to that, is that it's not so much the technology leaders like myself, and I mean that we're part of the problem, right? Because our expectations are set way high, and
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. We say yes to everything because we're there. But the other part is the organization itself, right? I had an interesting conversation with my HR person last week, who was complaining because she had an issue at 5 in the morning that my team wasn't addressing. So, well, we don't get on till 7:30.
Yep.
And she said, well, technology, it's 24/7.
Mhm.
No, it's not. But that's the expectation in a lot of organizations, that the technology team needs to be available 24/7.
Mhm. Yeah. So there's two ways to look at that, Bob. One is staff up and have schedules, right? Oh, mic drop. I love it. Yeah. So thinking about, okay, if the expectation is 24/7, let me staff that. Let me have 3 shifts, right?
Right.
Or you
Which
propose
is always a no.
well, then get really clear on what matters, right? Because here's the thing, in tech, you're not nobody's dying, and you're not the heart surgeon who has to like immediately get there, right? But the customers treat you like you're the heart surgeon. Your
Mhm.
colleagues treat you like you're the heart surgeon, and you have to figure out what how to really prioritize the work that matters and how to set expectations, because people treat us the way we train them to treat us,
Right. We
right?
set the expectations, right?
Absolutely. And we help a lot. Listen, I do so much role play with my clients about, how to have those boundaried conversations, what really matters, and then how to tie that back to a business need. Because
Hmm.
you don't want it to just be, well, we don't get up at 5. We're on what Pacific. It's like, listen, our team does XYZ amount of calls. Here's the impact we have on everybody. We see
Hmm.
there's a less here. Here's a hotline, or here's an escalation path, without it being like, just expand what you have to do. And I think about like those software engineers and the hardware engineers and all of the tape outs and product releases and the extreme pressure of their customers, right? And how do you say no to a customer? You say yes if. You
Yeah.
don't say no. You say yes if, or yes and. And we work a lot on languaging, to really be able to stand in what matters, to do what's right for the business, and also to teach your customers how to treat you. And I get it. I get it. I've been there. I've been in their shoes. I know what it's like to have that angry customer and the potential they're going to go to the competition. But customers, if you're in relationship with them and you can actually speak to them on a human level as well, and do a yes if or a yes and, they usually respond to that. But maybe, yes, we can help you, and here's the one thing we're going to do right now. Or, yes, we can help you if we can get 2 of your people available too. Like, joining in the problem
Right.
solving is essential to manage burnout. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that. I love those yes if and yes and statements. That's a great bit of advice right there.
Yeah, because you don't want to say no. I get it. And saying no is not acceptable.
Right.
Okay, yes if and yes and there's a great little turnaround for you.
Well, and it's setting the expectations. I mean, so when I joined the organization, the expectation was 24/7. We've shifted away from that. It's still there, and
Mhm.
we're starting to shift away from that. We've done that through things like a ticketing system, right?
Right.
Then the help desk ticketing, and setting it up so that it responds automatically, saying, "Okay, we're going to get to this, and here's where we are in the queue," things of that nature, right?
Mhm.
To help out, because sometimes I think half the battle is making sure that they're communicated with, making sure that they feel like they're being heard at the very
Absolutely.
least.
Absolutely.
Because like you said, I tell my people all the time, we're in financial services. We're not curing cancer, right?
Exactly.
No one's life is on the line for what we're doing.
Mhm.
Now I understand, what we're doing, it impacts the bottom line, and
Mhm.
with COVID and everything, it's businesses, we're just getting back to break even at this point. But I understand that. So we all need to move quick, but we have to really take a look at the reality of the situation, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to say something if I can. So one thing that comes to mind when you think about your experience, right? And I'm sure budgeting through layoffs, everybody has that, right? Imagine if you went to the team and you said, listen, what we don't want to do is lay off, and we're really crunched right now. We'd like to keep everybody here so we all don't burn out. We're going to reassess compensation for now, or our bonus structure. But you can count on us that we're not going to put more work on your plate. We're going to keep everybody here. Like, what would that do for your team?
Right.
I mean, it's just this like random thought that could actually change the whole dynamic. So you don't feel like you're curing cancer, that you do feel like you can actually take a break for a minute to give your brain a chance to rest
Hmm.
so that you can be innovative. Because what's happening for people in tech with burnout is there is no downtime. And you and I both know, Bob, creativity doesn't happen when you're staring at the computer. It doesn't. Right? And so self-care might be going outside, sitting in a chair, closing your eyes for 10 minutes.
Hmm.
This isn't like a spa day. We're just talking about hydration,
Right.
drinking more water regularly. So there's some basic things you can do to not burn out. And then organizationally and system-wise, you really can look at how might we manage our budget and not lay off?
Right. Well,
Might we?
yeah.
Mhm.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Just I love my how might we's. Like that is how you get to the answers. How might
Right.
we?
Yep. Yeah, I agree 100%. So early on in the pandemic, we're starting to come back. All right. Catherine's asking, talk about the way you can ensure trust, enhance trust.
Oh, yep.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. How can we enhance trust?
Well, first of all, you need to be trustworthy. You know,
Okay,
hello.
obvious.
And so that's number one. But here's the thing. I think what I see with a lot of my clients is what I'll talk about putting the human back in tech. Trust
Mhm.
comes when you feel seen and heard and appreciated, and also that it's okay to be human and not perfect. So that starts with you as the leader to, when you mess up, you own it. When you don't have an answer, you own it. And you know what, guys? I really want your opinion. And I know lately I've been so stressed out. I've just been telling us what to do. I know that's not the best way to go. What ideas do you have? Let's just brainstorm for a minute and like bring that forward. Like, so you as a leader being human and owning your perfectly imperfect
Mhm.
ways goes a long way.
Yeah.
Also starts with a one-on-one relationship. You don't establish trust in like large group settings where you just, do trust falls and explain, here's what I'm working on. No, like it's the human one-on-one connection that is where trust is made or broken.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I make sure that I touch base with my entire team individually
Hmm.
every day, and it's not just about what you're working on your project. I got my lead developer. She's in the process of buying a house, right? So I've tried to be as involved in that as much as she wants me to be. She asks me questions, and advice because she's younger. She could be my daughter that
Yeah.
young, and I want to be there as much as possible. She had some issues with the inspection yesterday. She gave me a call right away, and I made sure I stopped what I was doing and to make sure that I could listen to her and give her the attention that she needed at that point.
Yep. Yeah.
My network, my lead network guy, he had troubles with his pet, right?
Mhm.
So I make sure that I'm checking on him to make sure that the vet visit went well and parents are coming in for the weekend. How are they doing? I mean, I even take notes about this stuff so that way I can remember what are some of the things that are important to them because I think it's important. If it's important to them, it should be important to me.
Yeah. What your point is so well made, and caring, like, caring about your people. And when we go back to empathy and we talk, oh, I love it. Yeah, you're not a robot. I love it so much.
Yeah, at least
But
that's
here's the
good.
thing that for some, introvert tech leaders, they're like, I got to ask you about your pet. Yeah, I don't have time for that crap, right?
Yeah.
But the smallest thing, how do you like to be appreciated at work? Do what would make you feel? What are you most proud of this week? What's keeping you up at night? You
Mhm.
can actually, if you want to stay in work lane because you're just not ready for pets and houses and all that, you still can lean in and go, I really am so glad you're here. And one thing I appreciate about you is, I mean, that alone is going to connect you. So
Yeah.
whether you're ready to go all in on the personal, which that's what I do too. or whether you want to stay in that that lane that's a little more strict, asking people, what can I do today to help make your job easier?
Mm-hmm.
There's another double dog dare for you right now. Go ask
You
everybody
got to be
today.
careful about that because, at least from my perspective,
Mhm.
I've seen leaders, will be on a call,
Yep.
right? And through my career, at the end of the call, okay, what can I do to help you? And they're just saying it to say it, right?
Oh, yeah. You're saying it to say it.
Then
Stop.
you could feel it, right? So when I think what you're saying is great advice, but you have to say it with meaning, right? You have to really truly mean it. What can I do to help you? And if they ask you for something, you got to be able to deliver. Don't ask the question if you can't deliver.
Well, I'll even go there with you one step further, Bob, if I can. Your point is very important. I am not suggesting you ask it just to fake trust, right? That is not it. Oh, look at this. I love this. Yeah, thank you, John Mark. So, one of the things that I want to say about this is I'm giving you this advice because I'm assuming someone's asking me,
Right.
right? What can I do? If I don't want to do dogs or houses or spouses, how can I stay in
Hmm.
the line of work? If you're not willing to do something, don't you dare ask.
Right.
Don't do it. That
Exactly.
is so insulting. If you
Exactly.
are willing to do it and they ask for something that you can't do, here's what you do. You know, that makes a lot of sense. I can see
Yeah.
why you're asking for that. I don't feel that today I can take that action. Here's what I'm going to do. Right. And you tell them whatever that step is, bring it up,
Hmm.
go back at the right timing. Sometimes it's about budget. So you got to wait until the quarter's over.
Right.
You acknowledge what they've asked for, and then you clearly tell them what you're going to do next, even if it's not solving the problem, because that way they feel heard and understood. And then you can actually, yes, don't let it be a check.
Okay, checkbox. Yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
point. It can't be something you just check off.
exactly. And then you can say to them, you know, I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah.
Let
And
me
it's,
see if
and
I
it's
can.
okay to say that, right? I mean, it's
Absolutely.
definitely okay to say that you don't have an answer. It shows
Yeah.
your humanity, right?
I mean, here's the thing with hybrid work right now. You can't tell me, listen, I will just, here's my magic 8 ball. Everybody's worried about it. They all want to know what can and can't be done. And leaders are quaking in their boots like, if I make an exception or I deviate, what the F is going to happen? So you get to say, hey, what can we do as an organization to make your life easier to do amazing work? And then you get to say, and what can I, as your leader, do to just support you better? Right. And that doesn't mean I'm going to let you work from home for the rest of your life or make an exception for you. But if you don't ask with intention to understand, you're missing the boat.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So one of the things you that we talked about really quickly in the beginning is about COVID, right? And what the lockdowns it in and the hybrid work. How do you see what's been going on this past year and a half now, and probably into the next year, right? Impacting the burnout going on in tech?
Excuse me, as I cough. It's exponential, my friend. I mean, I was just with a new client this morning and my daughter came in to say goodbye. And it was a new client. And I said, you know what? Come and say goodbye. And I introduced her. Work has changed forever.
Mm-hmm.
The burnout that's happening is because it's all blended now. And your families are suffering because of it. There is no separation. Excuse my, don't you love when you go live and you get a tickle?
And that's why we have coffee.
You know what they say? I'm going to digress for 1 second. When you get caught up on something, it's because it means a lot to you. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm taking the glasses off. That's how much it means. Okay. It's exponential. 95% of workers in the most recent report I read in Wall Street Journal are thinking about quitting jobs. So don't fool yourself to think like you're immune to this. Everybody's feeling it.
Right.
It's become mainstream topic. I mean, I'm a leadership development expert, and I'm talking about burnout because I see the tie to the leaders, right? Yeah, I'm dripping a little bit in my eye. You really got me, Bob. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
Seeing the women leaving the workforce like nothing I've ever seen. It's impacting our kids. It's impacting generations. So yeah, that's why I go back to staffing.
Yeah.
Winners.
But the problem there, and I agree with you 100%. We are all understaffed right now, but we're all understaffed right now, at least within the certain industries, my industry in particular, because we're not making revenue, we're not hitting profit, right? We don't have enough money to spend to bring another person on, so we're all being forced to do less with more. So I think, at least for me, and the solution from my team is the constant check-ins, right? It's the constant saying, okay, you guys need to schedule 5 minutes every hour for yourself. I make that mandatory with them, and not that they're, to be honest, I don't know if they're doing it, but at least they feel appreciated that they're giving that part.
Yeah. And you have to model it too, because if you're giving everybody 5 minutes, but you're not taking it, you know what I mean?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Okay, good.
I absolutely do. And with business coming back, we're drinking water from a fire hose right now.
Yeah.
Because we're working, we have staggered shifts because we're cutting back hours still, and we need more people, but we're not at break even yet. So I think it's even more critical that they're shutting down. Today's Friday. Yesterday and Thursday, we always have a Thirsty Thursday, a virtual Thirsty Thursday and we invite other teams into it too. And we started at 5 o'clock, promptly at 5, and we turn the phone system off basically, right? And we all have a cocktail together, or a tea, depending, or a pop, or whatever it is that person's having. Yeah. But it's a chance for us to all connect on a different level where work is not discussed. I always cut people off if they start bringing up the subject of work. I cut them off. I'm sorry, not allowed on Thirsty Thursday.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful thing you're doing. And one of the greatest ideas I heard lately that one of the organizations I work with is doing is the leader will schedule a meeting, like an all hands, they won't call it an all hands because we know you have to communicate, but let's just say a team meeting. And then everybody gets there and they're like, great, you have an hour for yourself. Get off your email, get off your phone, go do something for yourself.
Love it.
Hour. And people are like, wait, what? Like, I can do my Instacart order and not do it. Like basic things. And so to surprise people with that sometimes is a beautiful thing too. And honestly, I'm just going to say this. Everybody is really tired. So if there's anything that you can do to start your meetings later in the day, to give people to not be so rushed.
Yeah.
Even a half an hour to give people that just exhale, because there's so much back to back. And the other thing you could do is make your meetings that are usually an hour, 45 minutes. Give everybody 15 minutes back.
Yeah.
You just got to really force it and be intentional.
I love that idea of scheduling a meeting and then say, okay, we're done. You guys got a free hour. I do that. I do end early most times, saying, okay, you guys got 15 minutes back. Just go relax or go grab a bite to eat, go to the bathroom, whatever the case is. Yeah. I don't know if they do anything, but at least we're giving it to them, right? But I love that idea of intentionally setting a meeting and then jumping off right away. That's awesome.
Because that way it's almost forced, but everybody gets it at the same time and nobody feels guilty.
Right. Yep. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
The recharge days and the whole unlimited time off, we all know that that's many times a financial decision disguised as something really nice for our employees. And it is nice, but you have to take advantage of it. So one of the things to think about with your employees is to take a look at what's on the horizon and what can you help them block off now so they have something to look forward to. Like right now, you don't have a lot where you can hire, right? But if you know that in 3 months, we're forecasting we'll be better off, then maybe you can say, we're going to add a couple days here for you just to have time off. It doesn't have to be immediate, but to keep your eye on it is awesome. But then you have to honor it. Like, let's just get really clear. Don't change that later. That's not going to establish trust. I know you didn't do that, Bob, because I know what kind of leader you are. But for anyone who's like, yeah, I'll just trick them and tell them it's late. No.
Yeah, no, that's a big no. Never do that.
Yeah.
So you and I met through Dr. Irene Kopp, right?
We did, Dr. Kopp.
Yeah, and Dr. Irene is also working on burnout, but she specializes in first responders, in the medical, police, fire, all that good stuff. And so that's why I really love what you both have to say when it comes to burnout. You have very similar styles, very similar thoughts, where Dr. Irene is I've learned a ton of her. She's given me some life-saving advice when it comes to meditation and exercises and tapping and how to get through. And through my relationship with you, you've given me some life-saving tips, not only for myself, but for my team, which is just incredible. So I just can't say how much I appreciate you and Dr. Irene so very much.
I am a huge fan of Dr. Irene. So for anyone listening, I met her. Oh, for all of you listening, I met her through an accelerator. We were working on trying to raise our message, right? And I had her on my show, and I was like, "What is going on?" So her insight timer meditations are amazing.
Yeah.
And she even started our podcast where we did some breathing together. So one of the things that I know for sure when you think about burning out, and you know how you talked about how it comes on fast.
Mm-hmm.
She and I both had this conversation too. It feels like it comes on fast, but it's been building and building and building, and you're just used to it, right? When you start to go days without eating lunch, you're already on your path, right? But you don't see that until it's like a year later, and your cholesterol's in the crapper, and your blood pressure's through the roof. So
Yep.
it's the daily moments that really can make or break burnout, and it's the choices you make to make sure that you matter too, right? And it's saying no to meetings without an agenda. It's saying, delegating it to someone else to let them go so you can have that hour. And then, returning the favor. It's being creative with how might I matter too? How might I get my 8 ounces of water every hour? The simplest things, but it requires intention. And that's one of the things that Dr. Irene and I bonded on big time was being
Yeah.
intentional.
Yeah. Yeah. She's amazing, and you're amazing as well. Thank you so much for doing Coffee with Bob with me, the live version. I mean, there was just so much good stuff packed in here. For those that are watching the replay now, there'll be some links in the comments below for you guys to hook up with Lisa, and I'm going to put a couple links for Dr. Irene in there because I think it's that important.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. You are definitely that one connection that can change a life. You are amazing, and I think we should get you as many people following you as possible because you are changing lives.
Thank you, Bob. Yeah, and I really appreciate this opportunity to go live with you. And I just want to give a shout out. I think we saw Natasha, Alicia, John Mark, who we
Oh
call
yeah.
Lucy, and there was Catherine, I believe. And so the folks that actually took the time to listen in, I just want to, be curious and love to know what resonated, any other questions you have, because I think we should continue the conversation, Bob, offline too, right? To make sure that everyone gets the support they need and that we are amplifying all of these great ideas because we're in this together, right?
Right.
I mean, you are on a mission to, elevate voices. I'm on a mission to elevate humanity together, right? We're doing this together. So thank you for the time and your platform. I'm eternally grateful.
Oh, you are very welcome. You know what? The one thing that LinkedIn has taught me, and I'll be honest, I've been on LinkedIn since it started. Right. I'm at my max of at my connection level, just maxed out, which is fine. And I'm not saying that as a bragging kind of thing, but it's been built over years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only recently that I really started leveraging the platform and found my passion to help raise voices like yours and get you guys noticed and get your message out there and heard because it's so critically important. So LinkedIn is a powerful tool for that. And I'm so glad you're on it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm thrilled to be here. And, everybody make it a great day. I don't care if you're listening to the replay or not. Go get that glass of water, take those 3 deep breaths, and ask yourself, how might I save an hour today? And watch what happens. You never know.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you.